So Jimmy Kimmel was doing it. Oh yeah, he was doing it too.
Yeah, he was doing it too.
Yeah. No, he was being accused of joking about it too.
So they were upset at him, even though he was attacking the appropriate person. He was doing it in a manner which is also construed as being transphobic. Like they were saying that his tweet is transphobic.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, he used to host the Man Show. I mean, he's done some pretty outrageous shit back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, for hee-hees and haw-haws.
No, that's a good joke on top of a good joke.
Yeah, it's a good joke. Funny thing to say. He's had a real problem with Elon from the beginning of this thing, but it's like he's in this leftist thought bubble. He is in the most leftist thought bubble available, which is Hollywood.
Joe Rogan came out swinging at Jimmy Kimmel's latest train wreck. Kimmel took a cheap shot at MAGA, and Rogan torched him for running his mouth without a fact check. He ripped into how late-night comedy has turned into a soapbox for left-wing talking points, and the smackdown was absolutely savage. This wasn't mild disapproval. It was a total obliteration. So strap in, this one scorches.
That sort of self-censorship and the idea of being a more empathetic person is a good thing, right? But as long as it's reasonable. But the thing is, the problem with that kind of stuff is it continues to go in the same direction where more and more things become forbidden and toxic, to the point where, you know, the Elon Musk joking around about my pronouns are prosecute Fauci. Jimmy Kimmel made a tweet back to him. He said, your pronouns are ass and hole.
Suddenly, Kimmel was getting scolded for daring to laugh at a pronoun gag. Turns out, the late-night liberal darling had his own run-in with the woke patrol after those jokes. Rogan didn't just call it hypocrisy. He said the whole thing was flat-out a problem, which is pretty funny.
Which is pretty funny. But then...
Did he really?
Yes. And so then I read that, and there was people saying, please don't joke about pronouns. It's transphobic to joke about pronouns. So they were chiding him for participating in a joke about pronouns.
You can't wave the flag for a cause and then mock it when it suits you, especially if you're the poster boy for that crowd. Sure, everyone knows the bit was aimed at Elon Musk. But come on, Kimmel had 100 other angles he could have taken. Instead, he went straight for the very thing he pretends to champion. Anyway, roll the tape. He was doing it too.
He was doing it too.
Yeah, he was doing it too.
Yeah. No, he was being accused of joking about it too.
So they were upset at him, even though he was attacking the appropriate person. He was doing it in a manner which is also construed as being transphobic. Like they were saying that his tweet is transphobic.
Do you think that's, in that case, do you think that's him or a writer? Can't you tell?
Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah.
No, it's him, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
good. That's a good one.
He's a comic.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, he used to host the Man Show. I mean, he's done some pretty outrageous back in the day.
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel once co-helmed The Man Show, a wild, unapologetic romp that thrived on edgy humor and took shots at every corner of culture. Back then, he wasn't chasing politics or bowing to any ideology. He was chasing laughs. The show was brash, unfiltered, and a smash hit, winning him a massive following and locking his place in comedy. That success launched him onto ABC, where he scored his own late-night gig. But here's the twist. The Kimmel of old would hardly recognize today's version, shackled to politics instead of punchlines.
He's had a real problem with Elon from the beginning of this thing, but it's like he's in this leftist thought bubble. He is in the most leftist thought bubble available, which is Hollywood. And, you know, and I think also, you know, he famously, there's some videos of him in blackface, and those came out, and he had apologized for them, and I think he took that hit and, like, really doubled down the other direction. I mean, that's just speculation. But he, you know, now is a guy that goes after people like Elon Musk.
I'm siding with Rogan here, especially when you stack up the long list of causes and policies Jimmy Kimmel has hitched himself to over the years. He's gone all in on vaccines, waved the flag for gender fluidity, and even backed the hot-button push for biological men in women's sports. Over and over, Kimmel has turned the stage into an amplifier for the progressive playbook, squeezing in woke talking points at every turn. That's not comedy anymore. It's activism in a late-night suit. And the punchline? The same fans who once tuned in for laughs are now stuck with lectures.
He's willing to put people on with uncomfortable opinions, and he's releasing people that were banned from Twitter because of things that they had said. He's like, as long as you haven't done anything illegal, I'll let you back on.
No, yeah.
So he's doing a lot of that. So it's a lot of people are upset by that because then they think, well, you're platforming bigots and hateful people, and it's a weird conversation.
And that's the glaring double standard of the left. Not long ago, they were gleefully silencing, censoring, and booting anyone who dared to say something that rattled them, and leading the cheers? Jimmy Kimmel. He wasn't just nodding along. He piled on, mocking Elon Musk for championing free speech and tossing insults his way. Fast forward, and now Kimmel and his woke crew want to pose as valiant defenders of open expression? Please. The same folks who punished others for speaking out now whine when the spotlight flips. Rogan, of course, isn't buying it. He calls it what it is: pathetic double standards dressed up as virtue.
I'm a free speech believer. I think the way to counter someone's inappropriate, even someone like Kanye West that says ridiculous shit, anti-Semitic things, the way to counter that is to counter that with more thoughtful opinions on what he's saying and point out that what he's saying is inaccurate in many ways, hurtful in many ways. Like, point it out. Like, talk. Let's have discussion. Don't silence the guy.
Kimmel is now choking on the bitter fruit of the seeds he and the woke mob planted years ago. When censorship was a trend, he marched right alongside, mocking and muzzling anyone who dared step outside progressive script, instead of defending free speech, a principle meant to shield everyone, no matter their politics. He signed up the cancel crusade, gleefully helping to silence dissent. Now the tables have turned, and Kimmel's feeling the sting of the very culture he propped up. Had he stood for open expression back then, even when it was unpopular, he wouldn't be boxing now. Rogan's message couldn't be clearer. You can't gag people for years and then play the victim when a blade swings back your way.
Are you chilled? Are you in fear for the future of comedy and free speech?
Well, Will, first of all, I woke up this morning to the incredible shock that apparently TV shows are not guaranteed in our Constitution. I mean, wow. So that was tough to swallow.
Rob Schneider might wrap it in humor, but he nails the truth about free speech. The First Amendment doesn't give you carte blanche, especially on the job. Between boss and employee, it's not unlimited. Private companies can absolutely dictate what their people say, because those words reflect a brand. Step out of line, and the fallout is yours to own, up to and including the pink slip. That's the exact wall Jimmy Kimmel smacked into. He assumed he could mouth off without blowback, but employers don't play that game. Schneider's reminder is razor sharp. The Constitution shields you from the government, not your paycheck. And in Hollywood, as Kimmel learned the hard way, free speech comes with a hefty price tag.
First. Second, I'm still waiting for the left, the liberals, to get outraged about Roseanne getting fired for her free speech. And then I'm also waiting, I've been waiting a long time for the left and the Democrats, especially the Democrats on Capitol Hill, with the Twitter files that released that the Biden-Harris administration was actually using the government to pressure Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and especially Twitter to actually censor actual Americans through government pressure.
Well, sorry to disappoint, but you'll be waiting an eternity if you think the left will ever condemn the Biden-Harris administration for leaning on ABC to boot Roseanne Barr. And accountability for that? Nowhere in sight. They brushed it off like it never happened, sidestepping the blatant political interference. And ABC wasn't the only target. Team Biden pushed hard on major social media giants, too, urging them to muzzle dissent and badge censorship as safety. Back then, the left roared with approval, treating it like some noble crusade. But now, suddenly, they're crying victim, posing as guardians of open dialogue. The hypocrisy is staggering. When they silence others, it's justice. When the tables turn, it's tyranny. Rogan's take is dead on. You don't get it both ways.
Capitalist pressure is really important because what happens is you have to make money or you have to do something of value so that you can get something in return. Now, the interesting thing is it's false advertising because honestly, look, Jimmy Kimmel, can be funny, and I don't mean to take anything away from that. But the fact of the matter, can you remember a political joke that went viral, what was something really funny of his? There was no attempt in humor at all in what he said. And as a matter of fact, it was a lie. Now, as you pointed to, Will, since the 1960s, you have to get a license to broadcast. This isn't Netflix. This isn't cable. This is broadcast TV.
His ratings tanked. The advertisers who once fueled his shows started sweating bullets, wondering why their money wasn't paying off. In TV, ads are oxygen, and some sponsors even threatened to bail on ABC entirely, fed up with Kimmel's polarizing rants and tasteless bits. This wasn't just lousy comedy, it was lousy business. Then came the fatal misstep, smearing the MAGA crowd, which makes up nearly half the nation. That's not edgy, that's self-sabotage. By turning late night into a political pulpit, Kimmel didn't just lose laughs. He lost viewers and sponsors. In the end, ABC had zero reason to bankroll a sinking ship.
And when you have broadcast TV, you have to, the airwaves are owned by the public. And to get that license, you have to be in the interest, like you said, of the public. And so that's why when there's a news van parked in the white zone, they don't get a ticket, because they are there to present news to inform the public in the public interest. So what happens is 25% originally was supposed to be the news to inform it, just to get that license. So when you absolutely lie to the public, then you are no longer in the public interest, like Jimmy Kimmel did the other night. Right. Mislead and lie, and actually was something dangerous. So with the FCC chairman, he didn't say that he was going to pull the license. He was going to give them a warning and ask for an apology, what I understood on the Benny Johnson show. And so that's not the government doing it.
Jimmy Kimmel has only himself to blame. He took a stage built to entertain millions and twisted it into a weapon against MAGA. That wasn't comedy, and it sure wasn't serving the public. It was pure self-interest. Instead of cracking jokes, he used late night as a soapbox for whatever agenda fit the moment. Viewers didn't sign up for propaganda. They tuned in for laughs. But by hijacking the platform for personal crusades, he alienated half the country and shredded his own credibility. In chasing vendettas over value, Kimmel sabotaged both his show and his name. His collapse wasn't bad luck. It was the inevitable price of choosing politics over punchlines.
246 different stations around the country say we're no longer airing this. It's because they heard from their consumers. They heard from their customers. And they said, that's it. We're not doing it. And so Nexstar, who was a great guy over there, Sean Compton, said, that's it. He's the CEO, and said, when we have complaints like this, and none of the channels, 246, because I'm sorry, it's not just L.A. and New York. There are people in between who have a real sense of decency and who realize that what you had here was you had someone who wanted to have conversations and debate.
Here's the wild part. Every single one of the 246 TV stations agreed Jimmy Kimmel's remarks cross a line. Total unanimity. Something you almost never see in broadcasting, and it speaks volumes. These aren't random voices shouting from the sidelines. These are stations that live and die by audience trust and know exactly how the public feels. And yet, a few woke media outlets are now scrambling to spin, bending over backward to defend Kimmel's reckless tirade. It's laughable. Are we really supposed to believe 246 stations all miss a mark, but a handful of ideologically driven outlets somehow nailed it? Please, the math doesn't work. The truth is obvious. The overwhelming majority see Kimmel's comments for what they were: distasteful, damaging, and indefensible. No amount of woke apologetic will change that. The defense is flimsy. The verdict is in. And with that, we wrap today's video. If you had a good time here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss what's next. Thanks for watching.